Hello everyone, and welcome back to the blog and our Learning How to Knit series. Today I'm going to show you an easy way that I found to removing rows and stitches when you've made a mistake in the pattern that you're working on. So here I have the stockinette stitch where I accidentally on purpose did a purl row here instead of a knit row, and I'm going to show you how to remove that. Now, normally, you could just pull all of this off, all of the stitching, pull on the working yarn, take all of the stitches off, and then try, hopefully successfully, putting all of the stitches back onto the needle and working from there. But I found over time that sometimes the stitches get twisted. It can be difficult to work with. Sometimes you drop more than one stitch than you're intending to, and it can just be very messy. And so I'm going to show you the technique that I found that works really well for me. Now, if you look really closely at this, you'll see this second loop right down there. Now this is from your previous row that you've knit into. And so if I take my other needle and I insert it into this, actually I want to go the other way, and I pull this off and I pull on my working yarn, I've got that stitch right over here on my right needle, and we'll keep working. I insert it into this bottom stitch right here, and I pull that off, and I pull on the working yarn, and you insert it, pull off the stitch, pull on the working yarn, and you just keep going till you have all of the stitches. Now, I recently had to do this on a baby blanket I was working on because I realized when I was finishing that I had made a mistake in the border, and I wanted all of the border from the border where I first started and the ending border to look symmetrical, and it wasn't quite symmetrical, and so I had to pull out many rows, and this was a lifesaver. Not having to worry about dropping stitches and making a mistake. I've got all of the stitches. There's never a stitch that you could possibly just drop and lose the stitch completely because the stitches are always on one needle or another. And just like that, we are back to stockinette stitch here. And then I can just take my needle and keep on knitting. And just like that, very easily, all of the bad row is gone, and I've got my good knitting left, and I can just keep on going. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and of course, always, happy knitting!